Links to all the NetWise sites can be found on our NetFiles website, so check us out at www.netfiles.org. Shane Kayo wanted his fifth graders to learn about, appreciate, and publish haiku poetry. He used the web to accomplish all three objectives. Let's join his class now.
The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. The haiku is almost like a sketch in words of what you see. The real objective was for them to appreciate and be able to write this particular kind of poetry. The very first step was the introduction of the poetry to the students. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. Tell me a characteristic about this poem. Tell me something about how this poem is put together. Look at the words in the poem. And what can you tell me about those words? You say that he's trying to rhyme. Now, the words that you're talking about what? Dreams and bird, right? No. No? What?
Die and fly and go in snow.
Oh, you picked them out. Excellent. So would you say that emotions and rhyming tend to be associated with poetry?
Yes.
Oh, that wasn't good enough. Raise your hand if you agree that emotions and rhyming tend to be part of poetry. Good. Okay, hands down. Because I've got another poem I need to show you now. And when we do poetry, we tend to beat it to death. You know, it's poem after poem after poem. And I didn't see a lot of the whining and complaining that I expected to see. I did see kids engaged with what they were doing, interested in what they were doing. As soon as I said it's got to be short, their ears perked right up. Short, yeah, I can deal with short. The poet could have just written a poem about fog, right? And fog is dense, I'm late for work and now I'm tense, right? Now, isn't that imaginative? No. This poem uses figurative language, good Robbie, and it uses it in the form of a metaphor. This is a 4-session lesson. The sessions are approximately 30 minutes apiece. The first session concentrates on introducing haiku and getting them to start their research. Poems don't always have to what?
Rhyme.
Good. Now here's a question. What kind of poems don't rhyme? Non-rhyming poems. What kind of poems don't rhyme? Shante?
Free verse.
Free verse poems do not rhyme. Well, boys and girls, we're going to start talking about a kind of free verse poetry. It is a kind of free verse poetry called haiku. Now, when we actually start doing some of our research in the computer lab, you will hopefully get the information that you need right off the internet. I wanted them to understand haiku poetry, and I knew that I didn't have the resources in my classroom to get that understanding in their heads. And I also knew that our school library didn't have the information they needed because I checked. And I realized that, you know, hey, maybe the internet will work. And I did a little bit of surfing on my own, some pre-surfing, if you will. And found out that there's really some good information on haiku there. And I thought it'd be much more meaningful to the kids if they found the information themselves. Second session from that builds on their research, clarifies and explains some things, and that's where they do the rough draft also of their haiku. Hold that haiku in that hand. Make sure you're holding that in your proud hand. In your proud hand, right? Okay, good. Now we're going to take that haiku that you have written, and we're going to go to the computer lab, and we're going to do some activities with that haiku. Maybe do some typing with it. We're going to go through the steps on how to do some research, okay? Now the search engines that I have already up here on the board, www.ajkids.com, we're going to check that out. Yahooligans, we're going to check that out. Metacrawler, we may use that. Web crawler, we may use that. Okay, try the Control O again. And try typing it again. Okay, go in there.
I'm there.
Get in there. You're there.
We went to some of the
website's www.ajkids, and we could ask questions and see what a haiku was and get information on what it was to help us write.
We learned 2 different kinds of haiku. A traditional haiku is 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and 5 syllables. And a freestyle is a free verse haiku and doesn't have to rhyme.
I like the surprise when you read it. You have to figure out what it's about.
It's like about seasons and nature.
Right now we're typing our haikus on the internet.
I wanted to change this up a little bit, and instead of publishing to a traditional medium, paper, I wanted them to publish to a more widely read medium, the internet.
Right now we're on the freestyle haiku, and this is one of the ones that we did. Birds chirping, flying, soaring high and low, everywhere.
I do assess them on how well they present ideas and communicate with their peers, and then they get an official assessment on their haikus, and as long as they stay on task and they stay on topic and they focus on nature and seasons, then they're pretty much guaranteed of a successful assessment.
Very hot and warm, crabs snapping, jellyfish stinging, and waves crashing.
Some kids that I just haven't been able to reach emotionally were able to dig down inside themselves and come up with a really, really meaningful short poem. Use the format, but don't limit it to haiku. There's so many things that you could use the same exact format for. I mean, research, discussion, practice, product. And you can use that for basically anything.
Check out this website if you'd like to read Shane Caillo's students' finished works.